It is time once again for the Morning Mindset edition of the Live, Build, Change podcast. And did you know that wherever you're listening to this, whether it be on a podcast app or on social media, say Facebook, for example, there are ways you can easily share this with someone who the Lord brings to mind, either through a direct message, through a text message, through an email. There are ways to share this. Would you consider prayerfully thinking about who needs this kind of encouragement in their life on a daily basis, and share this episode with them as an example and explain to them why you thought this would be a helpful resource for them. We've been looking at the book of Proverbs, various wise sayings that Solomon has written for our benefit. And I want to look at Proverbs chapter 20, verse number 7 today. Proverbs 20, verse 7 says, "The righteous who walks in his integrity, blessed are his children after him." You know, I wonder, how often do you think about the impact your life has long term? I mean, we tend to think of our Christian lives kind of as a here and now thing. You know, how can I live rightly today? How can I be representing the Lord well today? And those are very valid questions. In fact, it's very much the reason that I do this morning mindset, is because I want us to be thinking about those kinds of things on a day-to-day basis. We have enough going on in any given day that we don't need to be thinking too far into the future. But in this case, verse number 7 is trying to get us to think a little further down the line, because here's the connection. What happens today impacts the future. Let me read it again. It says, "The righteous who walks in his integrity, blessed or blessed are his children after him." You see, living a righteous life carries with it consequences, and I might say good consequences, for those who come after you, and in this case, your children. You see, me living a life of integrity, a life of honesty, a life of truthfulness, a life of righteousness here and now, today, is going to impact my 5 children and their children after them and their children after them. You see, we're thinking in terms of legacy today. You see, it's a lot longer view than we think it is oftentimes. We get so wrapped up in the busyness and the issues of an individual day or an individual season of life, and we forget that this thing called integrity that we're striving to have is about more than just us. It's about more than just our behavior in this day. It has repercussions that go on into the future. And I don't know how that impacts you, but for me, man, I really want to know how I can better impact the future of my children. Because, you see, as our children grow up, we tend to say things like, well, they're adults now, they're going to make their own decisions, and absolutely, that's true. But I think while they're still young, we forget that our influence on them as they are growing up, our influence on them by the way that we live our lives, can impact those future decisions that they make as adults. Do you see where I'm going with this? Today matters, not just for today's sake, but for tomorrow's sake in the lives of your children. So think about your children if you have children right now. Or think about those who are around you, who you influence, maybe their nieces or nephews, grandchildren. Think about how your life today and the example that you set by the way you live can set them up for a better future, a better way of living themselves, because they know what it looks like to live a life of integrity. I want to encourage you, share this concept with someone today, either by sharing this audio with them or by speaking to them yourself about the impact their life and your life can have on those who are to come after you. Let's talk again tomorrow on the Morning Mindset edition of Live, Build, Change.